Okay. Madam Chair, can you take a roll?
Yes. President Ricketts,
Present.
Vice President Gilmore, I do not see at the moment, but I will let you know when I see she logged in. Councilor
Okay.
DeSorger,
Here.
Councilor Gwynn,
Here.
Councilor Mayo, Councilor Mayo.
Here.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Councilor Forgy.
Here.
Madam President, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Okay. We're gonna, President notes, continued discussion on proposed policies and procedures to safely resume physical in-person council and subcommittee meetings. I don't actually want to have that discussion. I think we're just starting with vaccines every place. So let's just stay the way we are and just get more people vaccinated and just focus on that. Unless there's some strong objections to that. Great. Okay. Council and subcommittee meetings. Okay. All right. So start with the proposed ordinance for Commission on Disability Access submitted by Councilor DeSorga. That's going to go to A&O.
I see no reason that we can't take a first look at it as soon as you'd like to send it over.
Okay. Do you have it now already, Councilor Gwynn, or no?
Yes.
You do. Perfect.
I believe Councilor DeSorger sent that out recently to everyone.
Great. And Councilor DeSorga, will you be able to go to that meeting and just speak on that briefly?
I'd be happy to.
Great. Thank you so much.
Do you want it put on the February 10th agenda? President Ricketts or Councilor Gwynn?
Councilor Gwynn, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that would be fine. Let's have, I don't have too much. It's pretty standard. We've got a lot of appointments, but those don't take long. So I see no reason for that not being first with Councilor DeSorger explaining the intention.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you for your work there, Councilor DeSorga. Okay. Mayor's appointments. Adam Provost, Greenfield Development, Bob Wilford, Commission on Disability, John Ambo, David Lewis, Sandy McGill, Trustees of the Soldiers Memorial. All of those will go to A&O.
President Ricketts, the only thing that I think we must do at full council the next time is remind people that anytime there's any appointments or reappointments from the mayor's office, that if they have any problems with an individual candidate, to reach out to the mayor and I prior to the meeting. So if we have to have any contention at full council floor, it's discussed in private forum and not on the open floor.
Good point. And thank you for that reminder. And could you also bring that up during your A&O meeting?
Yes, I'll definitely bring it up then, but only because with the changing of the guards and, I have a full new committee, there's no one back on A&O that was with us last session. So I'll remind all of them the same thing. That's where we could talk about it. But as you and I discussed in A&O last year, it's important that if anyone has a problem with any candidate, that it's discussed in that form before it's made into a public issue.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, appropriate $16,500 from free cash to repair traffic lights. Appropriate $20,000 from water retrain earnings to match grant from Millbrook well generator. Establish municipal pension stabilization fund authorized by MGL C40. B, and appropriate $100,000 from free cash to municipal pension stabilization fund. appropriate 500,000 from free cash to general stabilization fund. 600,000, appropriate 600,000 from free cash to capital stabilization fund. Appropriate 300,000 from free cash to contract stabilization fund. Wow. Appropriate 25,000 from free cash to compensated absences fund. Okay. Ways and means. You're all good with that? And
Yes, thank you.
do you need anyone at your meeting surrounding any of this?
Oh, absolutely. I think that it would be appropriate for us to have the mayor and also looking at all of this, Liz and perhaps Danny, if she could attend. Also, Marlo, that would be helpful as well on the Millbrook piece.
Okay, so I'm sorry.
Madam President, can I ask a question about procedure or building the agendas? Is there where would a good place on the agenda be for a general discussion of getting everybody on board and up to date with all the paperwork that we've received, and at least I've received it. I'm hoping others are receiving it as well, regarding our fiscal budgetary going forward. And can we just open it up to a general discussion at any time, or are there rules that we have to abide by in regard to the procedure?
Okay, Madam Clerk, do you have thoughts on this? Or do you want it just to be a general agenda item that Councilor Forgy will lead?
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Councilor Forgy, are you asking about the operating and the capital budget?
Yes, actually, there's a number of us that have received a lot of documentation from Liz and the mayor in regard to everything moving forward. Also an audit report. I wanted to make sure that counselors had all the information that they needed to move forward. And if there was any discussion that they'd like to have, just general questions, not anything really in depth, nothing we'd be voting on. It would just be a general discussion if they had any fiscal questions or fiscal procedure issues.
So I see in the chat box that Liz Gilman is asking to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I never look at this thing. Let me look at this tonight. Please, Liz, go ahead.
Okay. As you all know, there's just so much to the area of finance. In terms of the capital, we generally have meetings at Ways and Means for the departments to come speak to you about their capital.
Right.
So, as well as budget. So that will be, the mayor will be sending out her decision on capital March 1st.
On March 1st.
So, yeah. And so then we would begin those meetings so that you will receive financial orders upon the mayor's recommendation in March for the first reading in March, and then second reading vote in April. Okay?
Yes.
And that's for capital, correct, Liz?
It's just for capital, Kathy. Yeah.
Thank you.
And so you have the opportunity to not only speak with the mayor and myself, but also the department heads in March and April on capital at Ways and Means and City Council.
So my question follow-up, if I may, please. Suppose because some of us are new, there's people new to our Ways and Means, is it appropriate to ask general questions? Does everybody understand? Have you seen the revenue reports? Have you
Oh,
looked
yes.
at the expenditure reports? You know what the cherry sheet is? Those kinds of things.
Correct. I think that too, the expenditure and revenue reports are quarterly. So perhaps after they're sent out, there's a time for discussion about them
Okay.
at Ways and Means for any questions or explanations. Also, I will note that when I have created a training folder on the council share drive, and when I find something that I think is valuable to you all, I put it out there. What I thought I would do is, especially in this budget season, as I start doing various aspects of the budget, I'll send something out, I'll put it in that training folder, and then you have the opportunity to ask questions.
Okay, that's excellent.
And you can always go back to the training folder.
I like that. That's very
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
that's the other thing. Because as you know, there's just so much to all of it. There really is.
Thank you.
Oh,
Okay. Thank you, Liz.
yep.
At this time, did the mayor want to say anything about, just in case,
Well, I was going to say anything about anything or anything about that. I thought I was not on mute. I was going to say, Madam President, if I could add on to Liz's thing. Liz is
Please.
the expert. Liz is the expert on all of those things, but I'm always available, particularly after you receive my recommendations, certainly on capital in March, because I know that the way the calendar fell and the change in leadership fell, Councillor 4G, you were not able to be at those meetings. So if you want to just discuss with me any item and why I did one thing and they did another, I'm happy to do that. Just, pick up the phone and we can certainly discuss that or answer any questions at a meeting. But yeah, I'm always available for questions on the budget and financial procedures and why we do things. But I might find myself ending that sentence with, but you should check with Liz first. So pick your poison, pick your source.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
perfect. And I know that one thing that has worked well with the mayor and I is if we need to connect, just picking a time, even for a phone meeting. So, Councillor Forgy, if you want to reach out with an email or do that same thing and pick a time for you both to meet by phone, I think it just works out well and it's just respectful to everybody's time all the way around.
Thank you.
President Ricketts,
Yes.
if there is something that goes into the shared drive that Liz uploads, she does generally send us a notice, and we send the notice out to the council that there is additional information in there. And if someone has something that they want to have a larger discussion on, if they email us, it can always go on the Ways and Means agenda under discussion, if that's an option.
Okay.
Thank you. That's good too. Good to know. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for all that information. That is good. Okay. So Tuesday, February 16th at 5:30 will be the Ways and Means, and it will be
Liz is out that week. Lucky her. So you're going to be stuck with me.
okay, Liz, creative planning.
Yeah. I'm going to have to figure out how she did that.
No, we don't want you to learn. Okay. Okay, so under the Ways and Means, Councilor Forgy, are you good with everything that's there?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
How about the audit review? on the next page.
My understanding, and I know Liz is online, my understanding is that that's been postponed to the March meeting.
Yeah.
And in that way, Liz will be back. And is very important to have her there. And we also have a representative from the audit firm as well.
Great. Perfect. Thank you. Appointments and ordinance. Counselor Gwen, how does that look for you for February 10th?
My only question is I have to check on the status of the ordinance to establish the Community Preservation Committee. We began that discussion. I think we held it over to get the new committee, but I know there's pieces for the mayor in that, and there's, and then Counselor
Wheeler?
Wheeler,
no. Your former EDC, Counselor Dolan. Counselor Dolan wanted to change some possible wording or something in that. So I just want to see where it's all at, but we can finish that discussion.
Okay, so do you think you want to set up a phone meeting with Counselor Wheeler before this meeting, or would you just rather have him come to your meeting?
No, I think let me, I'll set up a meeting with Counselor Wheeler prior just to see if we're on the same page, and then move forward. Because it just says on the agenda that we're going to continue discussion, which we can. I know there seemed to be some sense of urgency. Maybe the mayor would know if she's seen any of this yet.
No, I was just going to say, I'd like to be on whatever it is, because I know that I have to make appointments to that committee. I have given it some thought, but I have made no actions towards that. So if there is a sense of urgency on it from any counselor, then I need to have a push from behind on it. But I'd like to have a conversation first about. I believe the who's on the committee, not who the actual person named is, but the role that they play on the committee is pretty well set in stone by the CPA law. So I just need to have more information, which I'm sure is ready at my fingertips somewhere, Danny. Yes. And then I can kind of decide who's appropriate for that.
Let me reach out, also, President Ricketts, let me reach out to the mayor's office. If we could ask the clerk to make sure that in our last A&O meeting, we saw a strike-through version of that wording, and there was some talk about some additional people that are available to be put on that committee. Could you just make sure that gets to the mayor's office?
Please.
Yes, because I believe, if I can remember correctly, that I think the mayor puts 2 people on. I think council president puts 1 or 2 people on as well. And one of the things that Councilor Wheeler was really looking into was that people that sit on this cannot sit on another city board. And we were going to look at that to make sure that was actually correct.
And to what degree? And then there was another chapter where we could add like an additional 4 people. And some of the people are, like the mayor has just said, they're outlined by the CPA. I mean, they tell you who's got to be on that committee, and even they tell us how many come from each section, who comes from the general population, all of that stuff. That's in that terminology. But I just want to make sure we're all on the same page as we try to move forward, that all those moving parts are come together. Right. But that would be it.
Right. It would be easier if you and Councilor Wheeler and the mayor could just meet at one time for this. So we're not saying it here and then moving it here and then moving it there and then moving it at A&O meeting. If I'm not even telling anybody what to do, but if we can do that, that would be perfect.
And then, I'll get that together, and then I'll reach out to the mayor's office and with Councilor Wheeler, make sure we're following the right steps and that we're doing it correctly, because like I said, a lot of it, the appointments are mandated, who we
Right.
appoint.
Yep.
Okay.
Council, President Ricketts,
Yes.
Danny Letourneau would like to speak.
Oh, please. I'm sorry.
Hi,
Maybe I
that's
should look.
okay.
Yep.
It's all right. Yeah, so Councilor Gwynn and the mayor may remember this, but Councilor Gwynn, I wrote up a memo summarizing the process and then the outlined seats and who needs to fill them back when it first passed. And I had the councilors who were working on it at the time take a look at it and give me their edits. So I can share that with you. That's a good starting point. I think that answered a few of the questions you guys just had.
I think we saw that. The
Did you?
clerk might know, but they were changing they were updating the terminology, and that's what I want to make sure that your version and our version are now still the same version.
Okay. I just took it from the law. So but
Yeah,
that'd be good to know.
There was a piece, yeah, correct, but there was some optional additions, and including the piece that talks about not being able to serve on other boards within the municipality. So we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page so we can go.
Yeah. And just to put it out there, just really honest, one of the things is that I know that past President Farrell was really looking to be on this committee, but he sits on GSET. And we're trying to figure out if GSET counts as one of the boards that we have to be worried about. So that's it. But thank you so much, Danny, and going with the law. Can't go wrong. All right, so Councilor Gwynn, what did you want to?
No, I think we're good. I just wanted to make sure that that update, it says we're going to have a discussion on it. I just want to make sure we have new information to discuss and that from different avenues. So I will check on that and we should be fine.
The 2020 ordinance review, is that what you're talking about?
No, just following up on that. The 2020 ordinance
That's
review.
what I'm talking about. Yep.
Yep. I'll just check with the clerk's office to see where we are with that prior to the meeting.
Okay. Economic development. Councilor DeSord, when you look at that, how does that look to you?
It looks fine, but except it doesn't say anything about deliberations, which that sometimes has been an issue with planning board and with economic development. Should that, the public hearing notice is already out, so I just have a question about that, and that might be for Clerk Scott.
Yes, and I see her raising her hand. Yeah, I saw the chat box. Yeah.
So the public hearing notice is a legal requirement, and as part of the legal requirement, we don't need to publish when or how deliberations will take place. In the past, Planning Board and EDC have occasionally had conversations and deliberated together, but they usually, I'm sorry, I'm going to lose my headset, but it's hopefully going to go straight over to the regular port, whatever it is on the. So you can deliberate together, you can deliberate separately. You will eventually have to take votes. They don't have to happen at this meeting, at the next meeting. But Ginny, if you want, we can have a conversation about zoning from, on the phone.
Okay.
If you could do that.
I will.
There it goes.
I will call
Okay.
you about that because that is always a sticking point. They're not sure if that should happen that night, and there's
Yeah.
a time frame that's on the whole thing.
Yeah, and if I may, Penny,
Yeah.
Under President's notes, the last bullet, there was a new zoning amendment proposal submitted, and the bullet, after you got going through all the Ways and Means items, you just went right to Ways and Means. But there is a bullet about a new zoning amendment that would have
first notice at the February meeting of the council.
Okay. First notice. Okay. Oh, perfect. All right. All right. Thank you. I actually don't. Oh, okay. Yep. The zoning map for the GC. Okay. And
That's the one.
perfect. And that one that's going to EDC, right?
Eventually, it will have to have a public hearing. It can be joint with the planning board again, but we would discuss that with generally Eric Torog and Jenny before it goes to a joint meeting.
Okay. And this will be their turn. So this meeting coming up, we're the ones hosting it. So it will be Councilor DeSorga that will record it. And I don't know if the planning board records also just for a backup. But
I think they just take notes.
they take notes and we'll record,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Through WebEx.
Okay. And it is a public hearing, so when people come to speak, will Council DeSoria have to keep a list of the name and addresses of anybody who may speak?
So I believe that between Councilor Disorder and the planning board chairperson and Eric Torog, a list will be kept of who speaks. Again, we can talk more about that on the phone with you, Jenny.
Thanks.
It'll be fine. You'll do good.
Yeah, okay, it'll be cool. Great. All right. And so everything else is fine with that public hearing. So community relations, okay. Monday, February 15th. Oh, it's a holiday. And so, Councilor Mayo, did you have plans about maybe doing a different day, or did you have a topic that you wanted to start to discuss? And you might be on mute. I can't hear you if you're speaking.
There we go.
Oh, thank you. Nope, take your time.
Okay. So this being my first meeting, I have been a member of CRE before, but I know that you and I had discussed that changes can be made at this on this committee, and I am full well aware of those changes, and some of them I like a lot, like the public meetings. Perhaps that was one of the suggestions that you had made, and I'm not sure how that will work in this Zoom area or Zoom life, but getting a precinct together on Zoom might be a little difficult, but I'd like to take any advice that anyone has on that.
Okay.
I don't have any agenda, so to speak, but because this is a community relations thing, I thought I would open it up to some the public, the residents, and find out if there's something that they want to talk about, problem areas in their streets, or something that they have an issue with in their precinct. I may not know of because I represent 8, but where the precincts other precincts may be coming and telling me other streets. So
Okay.
I'd be keeping them straight on that.
All right. Well, all right. What we'll talk about this later. So I will reach out to you
Okay.
and Tammy in the clerk's office,
Okay.
and then we'll figure out a date. So we'll start it in March since this is a holiday
Okay.
this month.
Okay.
All right. So
Very good.
right now, so we won't do anything.
So what are we?
So are we canceling, the February CRE?
Right. Yes, because it's a holiday anyway. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
And so what date would we pick up on it in March?
Can I just look at a calendar and I'll talk with you and talk
Yep.
with Madam Clerk and get an email out
That's fine.
tomorrow? Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks. Perfect. Clerk report.
Nothing.
Nothing?
We have a special meeting at 6. Nothing.
Okay. Well, we'll get there. So we have first readings coming up and those. Okay. I think we're all set. We have all these first readings that'll be up and the zoning amendment. So I'm good.
We
You're
just
good.
need a motion to adjourn.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move 4G.
Second, Mayo.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.